Coming back from the giggle stick conversation, and I'm just going to leave that there. You're just going to always be curious about what Shay and I were talking about and what is a giggle stick. Let's just leave it as a cliffhanger. Hey, Shay, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
Shay Moulder. Yes. Thanks for coming back. I always wonder, after we go to the first break, if my guests will just get up and walk away and never come back. So I'm always
That
pleasant, so happy when they're still here.
I feel exactly the same way when I'm at a show and I have a break in between sets and I leave and come back. I'm always very pleased when no one has left during the intermission.
Oh man, that must be. I can see that. You're like, oh my God, you're peeking around the curtain. How many people waited for that opportunity to run out the door when I took a break? That must be
Sometimes I'll even
horrible.
tell them this is your opportunity to go so that I don't have to see you.
No wonder you have such anxiety. All these things you have to deal with as a performer. I'm feeling for you. Listen to this one. So we're listening right now to "Buy My Stuff." I love. How clever is this song? There's nothing like it out there ever.
Thank you. You
What
know
did what
what?
was inspired? What inspired this song?
Um, I honestly, what inspired that song by my stuff is that, um, you know, I was feeling very poor. I was feeling very um it was in the point during the pandemic where I was really reeling because as somebody who works for themselves, there was nothing for me to do. I
Yeah,
couldn't go see anybody and I couldn't perform. I understood all of that, but it was still like um, you know, up you know up a creek with no paddle. And so I was feeling some massive anxiety. And then I was also rampantly watching the news. And there was a woman who she had a restaurant open. And it was during the pandemic, no one wanted to wear masks. They were verbally assaulting her and they were yelling at her. And the news did an interview with her. And she talked about how upset she was because she needed to keep the restaurant open because she had employees to worry about. And I was just like, I'm so frustrated. So I was writing all of these things that I was seeing and how awful it felt. Um, and just generally it was like chewing up and recycling the news in
mm,
this 1 month span where I was feeling desperation. I realized everybody is feeling such immense desperation, and there were just all these bits and pieces that I was hearing and seeing and feeling. So I wrote a song just to kind of you know kind of like push back on what we were feeling with this capitalistic conundrum that we were in,
mhm.
you know.
And at that time, we had no idea what it was or where it was going or what was going to happen or if we'd ever get back to performing, to going out to eat, going to see concerts, meeting people, right? So there
Yeah.
was. Now we kind of know, we can look back at it and say, well, we didn't have to be that scared. It was eventually going to end. But at that time, when you place yourself in that position, you have no idea where it's going, right? And especially
Yeah,
as a performer, I can imagine how. Uh,
exactly.
yeah, what a great song. I really like it, and it's fun to listen to.
I appreciate that. There was a lot of hesitation in releasing it with the gunshot in it for me. That part of the song really I didn't know if I should move forward with that. So for you to single out the song and talk about it makes me feel like good and like I made good artistic choices on it. Um, we were faced with a lot of as we are still, like nothing's gone away. There is massive amounts of racial inequality and racial injustice that we see and that people have to feel every single day, and just senseless pain and violence. And so um, the chorus, the end of the chorus, I tried to kind of just encapsulate that um, as best as I could without being, you know, too much or disrespectful. Um, but I kind of just wanted to I don't know, create, just like encapsulate the moment of everything I was seeing on the news, you know.
You did it beautifully and in a new, fresh way. Do you often have the conflict that you described just now between, as an artist, really showing who you are, really
Yeah.
expressing yourself the way you truly want to, and then wondering if you should edit yourself, and having some self doubts, if is this too much? Does it say too much? Is it, will it go the wrong way? Do you have that
Oh, I
conflict as
I
a
think
writer?
I think everybody who creates something has that um that voice, that like that check, that moment of like self-doubt when they're creating something that they know can be polarizing, right? Especially somebody in my situation where I write a lot about like I think some of my stuff comes from a very blue collar place. And I think that sometimes we get an idea that um, that people in my position will split and split to the party line. You know, when I'm just in the middle of everything and experiencing life and writing and creating what I feel, but then people that like me want to put me into a box so that they feel more comfortable with me, you know? And so sometimes, yeah, it's difficult to not want to alienate people to your own narrative, you know, like what you're experiencing. You don't want to alienate people because you have things that you're thinking and feeling that might not, you know, jive with them for whatever reason. Because, you know, as a musician, as a person who makes music, I've got a lot of unsolicited feedback from people and things I've created, and it's been a good teaching tool for me. So even if you're doing something nice that you think is good, somebody will have something to say about it that might not be kind, you know. So you also have to think about how people are going to accept it and treat you afterwards, and how it will just generally be be taken. So there always is that inner critic to the narrative.
Why doesn't everybody just be kind? Be kind to Shay, would you? Be kind, by the way. Go to shaymolder.com and please follow her, and follow her music and stream her music, and buy some of her music, and buy some merch, and go see her in concert. What a That's the life, I guess, if you look at it as the never ending um, challenge of an artist is to see the world and kind of turn it back for us so that we reflect on ourselves. And it's not always kind to the artist, is it? But that's the role ultimately of a good artist. In some ways, is to do that through your art form, right? And I don't want to put you in a box or compare you to anybody, but I was thinking about Oilsdale, and I was thinking a little bit like Bruce Springsteen. I hate to make any comparisons, but the
That
lyrically,
is that is I will take that, sir, as a premium compliment.
well, it's meant that way. It's you capture, and I want to say we're going to say that to the end because that's our premiere song or our featured song for you. So we'll talk about that in our last segment. I'll move on from now, but um, are there themes over others that most interest you? Like, what are your top? Do you tend to go to a theme, or you just get inspired by the world around you and the situations that you're experiencing at the moment when you write?
I, I feel like everything. I feel like it's all up for grabs. You know, I am inspired by my experiences. I'm inspired by other people's experiences, and just kind of, you know, I think it's a good thing that you said to kind of reflect the world. I love storytelling. I didn't realize how much I loved storytelling, um, and probably until like a few years ago, because I was writing all of this narrative work and realizing everything kind of had these like little stories to them. Um, and I feel like I can mostly blame my mom. Like I can blame her for that, because growing up, I realized how much Harry Chapin I listened to.
Mm.
And he was just an immense storyteller, just an immense storyteller. And I still feel very captivated by the art of storytelling, of writing, and like sharing. Just the sharing empathy, I feel like is a big thing in all arts. So I do feel like that's kind of where I'm inspired by everything, and then I try to create a story around it, maybe.
Okay, let me ask you if you which five albums, let's say you had five albums and that you
Don't do
moved
this to
from,
me.
I'm going to do this to you as one of those questions.
Don't. You can't.
Come on, think about it. I bet you this will be
Okay,
easy for
okay,
you.
okay.
Which five albums will always be in your music collection?
Oh, Christ on a.
Okay, before you answer that, why do you not like that question?
You know how much music I listen to? Like, there's so much good.
Yeah, I know
There's
it's a
so much
hard
good
question.
music. It's so hard. I mean, like, I
Go
listen to stuff
go like
across
first
the
thing that comes in
board.
your mind. One, two, three. Two, three.
Okay, probably David Bowie's, let me think. Hmm. Maybe Aladdin Sane, okay?
Okay.
Because that's a quintessential Bowie
I feel
album.
like I'm torturing you right now.
It is. It's
If you could,
horrible what
if
you're
you could
doing.
see Shay's face
It's a
on the
cruelty.
YouTube
It's truly a
channel,
cruelty, people. You ask a musician what if people, and because then also it changes through the years.
but like if you could never touch that David Bowie album or hear it again, would that be one you grabbed and said, "I'm keeping this forever. I can't not
Oh,
ever listen to this again."
yeah, I think I would grab that. So, okay. So
Give
there are
me just
albums.
two
I'm
more.
just gonna rattle them off right now, okay? Because some of them are like,
Train of
okay.
thought. Just go.
So train of thought. Nina Simone's The Tomato Collection.
Oh,
Okay,
good one.
that was a really wonderful, well put together Nina Simone album. Okay, by a now defunct record label. Um, so then there's also, like I said, David Bowie's Aladdin Sane. I would pick um uh maybe maybe Bruce Springsteen's The River.
Oh, good one.
Okay. Um,
That's
let me
three. I
think.
could let you quit if you want.
No, it's such cruelty. Okay, I would then pick um the Dresden Dolls self-titled album. 'Cause I'm a huge Amanda Palmer fan. I think she's amazing. And
I
because
don't
that
know.
was
I
such a
don't know that
formative.
one. I'll have to check that out.
Well, okay, well we've got a conversation during the commercial break. Um, and then maybe if I had to pick a fifth one, this one's just sticking out to me, and it's so weird. I feel like I should be picking more like country albums, but maybe like the Talking Heads, Sand, and the Vaseline.
Mm. You got a good music collection. I like that. And
Oh,
we'll go.
I'm
If you have a
expansive.
party,
I
have
listen
people
to
over,
everything.
and you're playing those albums, invite me. Okay, I got another one here along those lines. But again, it's your fault. These questions were inspired by your music. That's where
Oh
they came
no.
from. I never asked the same question twice. That's a rule of mine. I hope I don't. Anyway,
Okay.
don't fact check me on that. This one came to me, and I usually don't like questions like this, but I was thinking about the albums and what would you choose. I never like to ask who's your inspiration. I feel like everybody does that, and it's hard to pinpoint your favorite artist. How about lyrics though? Or do you, Shay, do you think of lyrics? Do you like remember a couple lines of your favorite songs that pop, that lyrics that you could recall or that come up in your daily life? Like I think in lyrics a lot. I'll be in a situation and I'll reflect, I'll call up a lyric from a song and that's that moment, right? Do you ever do
Yeah.
that?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. I
Okay.
feel like there are earworms that get stuck in my head that that are like almost comfort songs, you know?
Yeah.
Like lyrics that I really like that will get stuck in my head. Yeah.
Okay. You admitted it. So now I can ask the question.
Yeah,
And
go
we got
ahead.
to go to break. So you're going to get off the hook really quickly here. When
All right.
what lyric or album comes to mind when I mention these artists? Joni Mitchell, a lyric or
Oh,
an album?
immediately the immediately blue.
Yeah.
Blue, this song. So if I think of Joni Mitchell, I think of the first intro to the song Blue.
Do you remember what that is?
Yeah, it's like blue songs are like tattoos. You know I've been to sea before. Crown and anchor me. Like that's what I immediately think of
Mm,
when I hear Joni Mitchell is I will hear that in my head. It's
that
just the
was
most
beautiful.
ethereal. I love her. Yeah.
That was beautiful. Well, you know what? I'm going to leave it right there because I don't know if we could top that. That was thank you for not only telling me that your favorite lyric, but singing it even better. Okay, we're talking to Shay Moulder. This is a great conversation. First time she's been on the show, and I think we're getting along just fine. Here's the music we're going to play out. This is Shay Moulder's David. Okay, and I don't know if you want to say anything about that. You don't have to. Sometimes it's best left up for interpretation of the listener. But if you want to say anything before you do, though, Shay Moulder, she's a singer-songwriter. How many instruments do you play? I know you play the ukulele and the piano.
So I play all sizes of ukulele. I have a soprano, a concert, I have a tenor, and I have a tenor guitar that I have tuned like a baritone ukulele. So I have like a vintage 60s harmony um, tenor guitar that's tuned like a baritone, and I play keyboard. Um, yeah, I fiddle. I fiddle with a lot of other instruments, but I wouldn't necessarily call myself out and say that I play them. So these are the ones I'm secure in saying I play.
How many was that? Like four, three, four?
Yeah, about like I mean, I you can just say the ukulele is all ukulele, so it's ukulele and keyboard. But you know,
Are you
teaching
a
myself how to find
ukulele or a
things.
ukulele person? I said ukulele, so you're probably copying me, aren't you? But you're mad at me that I said
No, no, no,
ukulele.
no. Okay, so I have a big. People ask me this at shows, like I'm supposed to be some like director of political correctness because I play this instrument, and partially I do. I have to say this. So, um, the way that we say it, like we should formally respect. Um, I personally feel this is me personally. I can't tell anybody how to feel or how to talk. Nobody if you don't know how a word is pronounced, just do your best at saying it the way that like it's supposed to be said. Um, so ukulele is like correct. Phonetically, like we don't, our languages are different. So like we see it and we pronounce ukulele, and it's been kind of ingrained into the ethos. And I did watch a lot of videos on like how I'm supposed to like tackle this when people ask me. So mostly from what I've learned from people who are like who are in the know and of like Hawaiian culture, who are kind of like you should look to them for how to say it. I've looked to them and they're like, do your best. If you can say it correctly, say it correctly. If you find yourself saying it in the way that like most people have been informed on how it's said, that's okay too. Just be respectful of the culture. So it's mostly just like know that there's an option to say it the correct way. It's like, some people like, I live in California, so a lot of people will say things the best that they can when they're trying to read like a Spanish word, and you do your best, you know, um, and you just be respectful.
Mm. That's coming. Sounds like you do sound like a teacher, right there. By the way,
Oh, thank you.
uh, um, do you know Jake Shimabukuro?
Oh
The
yeah, I love him. I actually got to see him at the Livy Bowl in Ojai.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right. When he was out
fantastic,
here,
amazing virtuoso player.
yeah, he's great. He's been on the show before. Do you know each other? I'll have to connect you guys.
Oh,
You
heck no,
play
I don't
together.
know him. I'm a fan. He's huge. I'm a fan. So
Mm,
I actually chickened out to see him after the Libby Bowl too, because like he was signing stuff for people, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna sound stupid. I'll just leave.
Oh, you should. I'm gonna connect you. I hope you don't mind. Jake's a
What?
really cool guy. Okay,
Oh yeah,
so
he
we're
seems really cool.
yeah, he is and so talented. We're gonna take a break. We're with Shay Moulder right now. She's a singer and songwriter. She plays four instruments, and by my math, that's four more than I play. Her new single is Oildale. You can go to shaymolder.com. I'm going to spell it for you. SHAYMOULDER.com. And from there, you can just travel around the website. You can see her merchandise, her music, keep up with what's the latest things that are happening. Maybe buy a couple things. She's trying to sell her stuff, so buy her stuff. You can also go to Instagram, Facebook, and find her on all her socials. Just stalk the hell out of her, but be kind. That's her only request. You got to be kind. David is what we're listening to right now. We'll be right back in one moment, so don't go anywhere because we're going to be behind the curtain and we're going to catch you. This is the Jeremiah Show.